Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to our random review. Today's random review is Night Has 1,000 Eyes, starring Edward G. Robinson, Gail Russell, and John Lund, and William Demarest as a wonderful, quick, witted and cynical police inspector. This is one of Indicator's brand new releases. It's spine number 389. Directed by John Farrow, who perhaps isn't a household name, but he's just one of those studio directors that did a really good job on a lot of different films. I mean, he made a Tarzan film, made a Saint film, but he also made The Big Clock, the wonderful Charles Laughton Ray Milland film, which was later remade and changed somewhat, starring Kevin Costner. Where Danger Lives, A Bullet Is Waiting, Calcutta, which are, I believe, all available on the Indicator Noir sets. But he also made Alias Nick Beale with Ray Milland, who may or may not be Mephistopheles. But Night Has 1,000 Eyes, which is also available on Kino Lorber, Blu-ray, Region A. This is Region B from Indicator. Not too long ago, well, it's probably about a month ago now, I did a 6 of the best video on Edward G. Robinson, and a couple of commenters mentioned this film. I'd never seen it before. But this is absolutely wonderful. 81 minutes of pure joy. Back in the days when economy and pacing were king, but it never feels rushed. Nowadays, obviously, films are fairly self-indulgent, and even the really good films tend to be a little bit overlong. But granted, in these days they didn't really have huge budgets and they weren't main features. They were just B pictures basically. But such economy. This disc has a commentary with Glenn Kenny and Farron Smith Nem from 2023. It has a short piece by Tony Raines, who obviously does a lot of work with Asian cinema. As I say, it's a short piece with Tony Raines. It's only 24 minutes. His pieces are usually like 45 minutes. And he talks about John Farrow. It's a fascinating history of the man who, again, one of those directors that didn't actually have that long a life. But Tony Raines even name drops Bresson when he's talking about this film. You'll have to watch the film and Tony Raines' interview to hear what context he mentions Bresson in. And then there's a couple of radio versions, one from 1948, which is half an hour long, directed by Farrow again, and starring Edward G. Robinson and William Demarest. And then we have Suspense, the Man Who Thought He Was Edward G. Robinson from 1946, which is 28 minutes long, which is a playful, original radio play tapping into Robinson's famous persona, starring Edward G. Robinson. And as always, reversible artwork if you don't want the pH meter along the top, and you get a nice booklet. Always one side the actors and the other side the technical crew, but lovely images from the film as well. So what's this little cracker about? Well, we open at the rail yards. A woman, who we later find out as Gail Russell, who's really underrated, I think. She is climbing the stairs and looks as though she's about to jump onto the railway tracks, and John Lund comes and rescues her. We find out that they are engaged, I believe, and he takes her to Edward G. Robinson, and he is a psychic. He used to do stage shows where he would do the, oh, I'll tell you what's in your envelope and I'll tell you about your history and whatever. But as he explains, he told Gail Russell that she was going to die and all the details of her death. And obviously John Lund isn't happy about this. And then Edward G. Robinson explains how he acquired this skill, and we see flashbacks. And we see flashbacks of he may have somewhat of a family history with Gail Russell's family that she may not be aware of. Robinson is absolutely fantastic as this guy who has strange talent that he didn't really want, kind of ruins his life, ruins his private life, and ruins his friendship, and he's pretty much in isolation until something happens to change that, which I'm not going to talk about. And as I say, he tells Gail Russell that she's going to die and gives her all these little details. And nearer the time, the police, including William Demarest, who is a classic cynical cop, making quips but never like parody or anything like that. You still believe him as a police inspector. He's just rather cynical. They obviously think Edward G. Robinson is somewhat unhinged, and he's the suspect, and he's the one that's actually going to kill Gail Russell. But how they work in all the details that Edward G. Robinson has described, and then how some of them end up being not what you think by the description of them. Again, I'm being as vague as possible, nothing new there. It's just quite wonderful as well. It's just such a wonderful little film. Again, 81 minutes. It flies by, but it's never rushed. Just beautiful, simple compositions by Farrow, efficient, economic, and it does kind of make you wish that all films were like this. Granted, John Lund is a bit wooden, as he always tends to be. Also, there was only so many leading men around in Hollywood in the 40s, and some of them ended up being not that great. I mean, he's okay, but he is fairly bland. But Russell and Robinson are fantastic, and again, Demarest as the police inspector is hilarious, and how it all works out, and there's a wonderful sense of fatalism. Obviously it's about fate, and can you avoid fate if you know how you're going to die. It's all this, well, don't go to that place, and do these things. And obviously film noir, or the film noirs that I really love, are the ones that have this fatalistic streak. Characters who are embroiled in this situation either by accident or by their own means, and they're resigned to the fact they're not getting out of this. They know where they're headed, there's nothing they can do about it, and that dark fatalist streak is in Night Has 1,000 Eyes, and it's absolutely wonderful. And so happy Indicator have released it. And again, as I say, you get a bonus of 24 minutes of Tony Raines talking about John Farrow's career. So thanks very much for watching. this random review. Please let me know if you've seen Night Has 1,000 Eyes and what you think of it. And it is a nice poetic title for what they actually talk about having 1,000 eyes, which is a nice little touch as well. So this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films saying thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you'll watch some more random reviews as they pop up on the channel. So this is Solitary Ronin saying farewell.